think that Jim Ratcliffe is undermined by what's happened to Ruben Amorim? Bearing in mind, it's not so very long ago he said he will be here for 3 years.
Yeah. Football changes so quickly. Jim Ratcliffe is now finding that out. You can have the best laid plans, the best set of ideas put in place when someone walks through the door, and you got your arm around, shaking his hand, arm around his shoulder, thinking the world's all rosy, and all of a sudden things change so quickly, so dramatically in football. And look, I think there's too many voices in and around owners nowadays. There can be far too much noise at that level in football that make it particularly difficult for managers. I've come back to what I said earlier. He didn't have enough consistent results, Ruben Amorim, and there's this thing around football nowadays, Jeff, where you've got to have a philosophy. Fans have got to visibly see something tangible in terms of direction, way of travel, and that wasn't apparent, I don't think, enough with Ruben Amorim's team. There were the odd results that were good, but there were plenty that were ordinary, and he often looked in the technical area a little bit of late, looking at the floor. What was all that stuff about when he wouldn't look at
He wouldn't look at the penalty.
Wouldn't look at a penalty. Wouldn't look at a corner coming in and stuff like. What's all that about?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it wasn't a great look.
That wasn't a great look. And those little things, that perception that people have when they see stuff like that, don't half go against you when you start losing a few matches.
You only do it once or twice, sticks in people's minds.
Yeah.
They do not forget. No. Here's a great text from Johnny in Rotherham. He says, "Why hasn't the great Neil Warnock been mentioned for the interim Man United job?" Oh, Johnny, look, I would pay to see that. I would pay to see that. It would be brilliant.
And can you imagine the first half-time team talk if they're one down? I'd love to hear that as well.
Let's hear from some Man United fans now then, shall we? Adam is a United fan. Morning, Adam.
Morning, Adam.
How's it going, Jeff? How's it going, Andy?
How you doing, mate?
Good, thanks, mate. Yeah. Who do you want to see there then?
Okay, so I would obviously Fletcher's in charge, I think, for the first two games. But then after that, realistically, reading reports that I looked at yesterday, I would say, realistically, I would go for Solskjaer, bring Ollie back until the end of the season, just to calm everything down. If not Ollie, I would bring Van Nistelrooy back. He seemed to do a decent job there for those 4 or 5 games before Ruben came in. Keep Fletcher like assistant underneath either Ollie or Ruud. I would go that option because unless they can find a permanent manager, which I doubt before the summer, then that seems the right choice. I mean, there's no one else really there that's going to come in temporary. I don't think Carrick will, seeing he was in charge of Middlesbrough for over a year and a half. But going forward on permanent basis, there's probably 5 that would stick out. The number one choice would definitely be Emery. I mean, I heard what Andy said earlier on when I was driving to work. I think Emery would be the number one choice. Outstanding manager, what he's done for Villa. Arsenal just didn't give the guy enough time. But, whether United's prepared to go to Villa and pay money to get him out, they have the money to do it, but it looks like Radcliffe just won't spend the pennies. But I would go for Emery. If not Emery, probably Ancelotti, Tuchel, Pochettino, one of those guys. But we need somebody with experience, knows the Premier League, and realistically, it's not going to be a long-term project because we're not giving managers the chance. I think personally, they need new ownership. Radcliffe and Ineos, they're just not doing it. There's guys in there that haven't a clue about football. Me personally, I was a big Mourinho fan, and I would take Jose back in a heartbeat. He didn't get enough time, but it's just, for me, the whole structure of United's just ruined, and they'll never be the same club until it's new ownership, in my opinion.
Adam, thank you very much indeed for the call. Let's hear from Nigel, who is another Manchester United fan. Morning, Nigel.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Andy.
Hi, Nigel.
I've been listening to you all morning, lads, so I have been.
Oh, you still with us, Nigel? Nigel, yeah, okay, we've got you back, I think, mate. So who do you fancy?
Yeah.
Who do you fancy in charge?
Well, I fancy Eddie Howe. He's done it at Newcastle. He's doing a fantastic job. And I know Newcastle supporters are not like this here, but Manchester are a far, far bigger club. And Eddie deserves the chance to go to a big, massive club like Manchester United. Look what he's done at Bournemouth, and look what he's done. He's turned it around at Newcastle. And, people turn around and say, well, we've done the foreign thing, so we've had all foreign managers. Eddie Howe, for me, should be the next manager of Manchester United. He'll turn them round without a doubt. He plays good football. And on a small budget, he always does well, so he does on a small budget.
Nigel, I can see the hackles going up right now, even from a couple of 100 miles away. That you say he's got the chance to go and manage a big, massive club. I think Newcastle fans might feel they are just that. Hey, Nigel, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Nigel.
Want to squeeze one more in. Rob, who's a Manchester United fan. Morning, Rob.
Hello, how you doing, guys? You okay?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. So, who do you want to see in the United hot seat?
Personally, sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat. Personally, I'd rather have Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back. I think the last season that he had, signings were made for him, i.e. Ronaldo. Even though being a United fan, you're excited to see Cristiano Ronaldo back at the club. I think ultimately it cost him his job. I think Ineos need a yes man. I don't think they need a manager. They want someone that's not going to challenge them, and I think Ole's going to be that guy. And we were scoring goals for fun. He brought excitement back to Old Trafford. Okay, we didn't win trophies, but he gets a club. I mean, look at his interview when he left. You know, he was almost in tears. He cares deeply about Manchester United Football Club. And I fear that many managers that you'll get now, I mean, I don't believe this Ruben Amorim wasn't angling for the sack. I think he was looking for his £10 million payout personally. And that's just not good enough. And he wasn't a good enough manager by far. 32% win rate in the Premier League is abysmal for the money that he spent as well. It's terrible.
Thank you very much indeed for that, Rob. John's just said, listening to that phone and you just had, how far have Manchester United fallen? Fans happy with mediocre managers such as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah.
He said, when the fan base start accepting mediocrity, the club has really sunk.
I mean, for Ruud, look, legendary Manchester United player, but what happened for him at Leicester again?
I think that rules him out.
I think would rule him out of going back as some sort of interim. Look, they've named their interim coach, someone who is currently working at the club, someone who knows it from top to bottom. Let Darren get on with it, and let him assess everything from a closer perspective than perhaps he's had over the last few months, and let's see how he gets on. They need. Again, I'll stand by everything I've said earlier. I don't think Man United need to long-term make any call right now. They need to, but they do need to look on a different shelf to the one they've been looking at. They've been buying and shopping, I think, on the middle tier. They now need to start thinking, I think, going for someone who is what we bracket as an elite coach, elite manager, someone who can drag all this lot together and get them going.
Naz has given us a call and he has an interesting point. Morning, Naz.
Morning, Naz.
Morning, guys. How you doing, UK? Great show as always.
Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. What do you got to say?
Oh, well, do you know this fairy tale story about bringing these legends band? It's all great, but they're going to get undone by these tactical geniuses like you got your Riolas, your Marco Silvas. So, I mean, I'm sad that Amorim's gone. He was the only one who wasn't masking the problems at Man United. He was actually trying to change the culture. So you got to question. You got to question the board, don't you? I mean, Radcliffe's got some tough decisions to make. Who brought him in? Who didn't back him? So I think someone else needs to be sacked here after Amorim. Secondly, you might think I'm a bit doolally here, but if Glasner comes and he brings three players, Gay, Wharton, and Mateta, we'll win the league next year.
Bold statement,
interesting point, Naz, but I don't see that he's going to bring the three of them, even if he does arrive.
No. And also,
even Wharton will be a big deal.
Yeah.
Wharton will be a big deal.
Yeah, they're all good players, man.
You mentioned about tactical geniuses, Naz. You mentioned, Marco Silva's in 11th with Fulham. Andoni Iraola right now is in 15th place with Bournemouth. Look, and I think we all admire the work they've done. But
we're not going to get a big manager, are we? We need someone who's felt the Premiership, who's experienced the Premiership, who's actually dug deep. And these guys have dug really deep. And with the squad of Manchester United, I think they can go in further. I think Glasner makes the perfect sense. Maresca makes good sense as well. It's quite a coincidence that he's actually available right now. And it did seem like Ruben Amorim knew more than we know. the way he left in that press conference, the way he walked off, it just felt that it was preempted, that Jason really got under his skin because they wanted to. It kind of like it took the bait.
Yeah.
It just makes if Maresca does come in, I think it was already done deal then.
Naz, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, I can't see that, Jason Wilcox, having had his fallout with Ruben Amorim, is then going to want to take on Enzo Maresca, who's just had a fallout with the hierarchy at Chelsea.
No, I don't see that.
And also Maresca's man.
And they have to, over these next few weeks, Jason Wilcox and Barada and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, they've got to come up with a new road forward, the direction they want to travel in, with a particular individual at the top. And as mentioned earlier, very simply, do they want their bat and ball? Do these guys who own the club want to be in total control of everything every day, or are they going to pass that over to someone that would probably potentially be better at that than them? That's the simple decision they got to make. There's 100 coaches out there, Jeff, good coaches that they could go and get to be the new coach at Manchester United. Or this time, are they going to give it to a proper manager? A proper manager, been there, seen it, done it, been round the block a few times, ain't afraid of what Jason Wilcox or any of them say. They've got their own way of doing it and they're going to stick to it. Are they going to go down that road? That's the road I think they should go down. I'm fascinated to know which way it's going to go.
Paul agrees with you. He wants them to give it to a proper manager. He says, in the summer, go all out for Luis Enrique. He's done plenty in Spain and France already. Surely he'll want to test himself in the Premier League. The temptation of waking up a sleeping giant must be appealing for him.
That is a very good, that's a good text. Luis Enrique, on the face of it, has a fabulous team. They've won everything that he wants to win over the last few seasons. They've been the team to watch and admire from a distance. But, Jeff, he's absolutely right, that texter, in terms of there is something in football managers that they think they can be the one to get Man United going. And if genuinely someone walks through the door and does that, then all of a sudden a sleeping giant awakens, and who knows where they can go and what can happen for them. And Luis Enrique is now an elite coach without question.